Hey everybody, Dave here, and thanks so much for joining me for another one. You know, just recently I was graciously given this pickup truck behind me as a gift from a very good friend. And instead of taking it into the field as a normal pickup truck, I decided that I wanted to build a modular system that would go into the back that would make it versatile enough that I could use it for my hunting, fishing, camping, and boating needs. And so I'm going to take you through the design and the build and show you exactly how I did it. So stick around. So let's start with the bed just as it is. As you see, the truck came with a bed liner, and it also came with a roof rack that I want to continue to keep on the truck and utilize to carry our kayaks with. That's what my friend did, and I want to just follow suit with that. But I want the bed covered, so I couldn't put a cap on here because I wanted to keep the roof racks without doing a lot of modification to the roof rack. So what I did was I came up with the idea of putting on a tonneau cover, and my wife suggested this. And the thing of it is, it's hard to find a cover that will fit, you know, a roof rack and allow that to be in place. But I found one. Gator makes it, and I'll put a link in the description below. It's an Amazon link, and it actually mounts to the inside of the rail so that you can utilize, you know, any type of rack that's under as well. But this will allow me to bring the cover back and to enclose everything, keeping all my modular system dry in here. Now, the system is really composed of several modules. I'm going to have one here. I'm going to have a sliding floor here. I'm going to have another box here, and that will have a drawer in it. And I may add a rod rack over here. We'll see towards the end of the project if I'm going to do that. So anyway, let's jump in and get started. It's really pretty simple. The first thing I did was I measured from the top of the bed rail here to the lumbar pocket here, and that's 8.5 inches. And so what I wanted to do was, I know that the 2x4 that would set in here would be another 1.5 inches high, and that would clear the well down here, the wheel well. And so what I did was I first cut some strips of plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, and I made them 10 inches high. That way this lumber can set in here and come in. And what I'm going to do is fasten down through the top here and down there as well to keep everything from racking back and forth. Then the other module on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. But you want to start over here first because this is fixed. This is going to be tight to the wheel well right here. And then from there, I can go over and get my measurements. So let's get started, and I'll show you exactly how I built this first module. It's really easy and it's very quick. So what I've done is I set a stop block here, and I'm going to cut these 2x4s at 10 3/8 inches. You'll notice in this build I use a lot of pocket screws like this, and this requires a jig to drill these out. If you want to know fully how to do this in a complete process, check out my video. I'll put a link in the description below of how to build your own Sportsman organizer center. And I go in full detail how to use pocket screws. It just gives a cleaner, nicer look. If you wanted to, you could screw these through from the other side, but then the screws would be visible. So this way I can make these really nice looking, and they're hidden. So what I've done is I've marked where these 2x4s going across will tie into the bed liner and in here. Now I am face screwing these because there's going to be a runner strip here that's going to hide these anyway. So let me do this on this side. And then we'll add to the other side, and this will be done. Okay, so as you can see, I'll just show you the construction on this right hand side module. It's just a set of wings right here, and I have one down there. I cut them to fit around the wheel well, and I'll run a screw down through here and a screw up through here. And what I did was I put a square against this edge, put it up tight to the wheel well, measured over to get my distance there. And it's as simple as that. So with that one in, and this will go tight to the wheel well, pretty close to it. Now you can see this is over this side a little bit and over there. So that side I want to keep and I want to bring this over so that I'm using the bed liner to sight down to make sure that this is square and that both of these will be parallel. Okay, my goal is to have be able to fit my jet sled in here, and so for that I need 25.5 inches, and I'm going to have a rail support here and one here. So I need to make this about 27.5 inches in here. Then when I put the 3/4 inch rails on here, it'll bring me down to 26 inches. I'll have plenty of room to slide it in. Now, because of that determination, what I needed to have this opening is that determined what size I wanted to make this next module. And this one here measures, well, let's take it down below here. This one here measures 20 inches. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the tops. And then we'll have a slide out drawer here, actually a floor, and a slide out drawer here, and then storage in here, and storage in here. So now the next thing I want to do is show you how I do the top. Very simple. You could do this with a big piece of cardboard, but it's really easy just to cut your plywood to random width. So for instance, you measure to this outside here to the farthest point in there, and you could rip your plywood to that dimension, then just set it on top. And let me show you what that looks like, how you scribe it. Now I'm utilizing the piece that I have for over here. I just set it here to give you an example. So what you'd have is you'd have a straight edge, and you'd butt that up against tight here and down there as far as it's going to go in. Then what I do is I set my compass like this to whatever dimension this is back in here, right here like this. And then it's just a matter of following it along like this, and it will leave a mark on here, as you can see. And it's just a matter of cutting that line out. Then once I have one side done, I just lay that on top of the other one, and I cookie cut that out, use it for a template, because they're identical on both sides. And I just put this one over there and the other one over here. Now these are just going to be screwed down from the top with just a few screws. I want to be able to remove this anytime I want in just a few seconds. I don't foresee having to do that, but maybe I needed to get some mulch or something, and I could take this all out in just a few minutes and put it right back again. So let's get the tops on, and then we'll go from there. Now what you can see is I've cut these circles there and there as I go over there, and that's so I can have easy access to the tie downs. The areas up there and over here I am not going to utilize. I'm too old and too lazy to be climbing up in the truck and getting up there, and that's the whole purpose of this build, is so I can access everything from the tailgate. I can pull it out, I can pull the floor out, and everything will be right here in front of me where I can reach it. I'll be able to have access right here and access right here to things I use the most. So what I also did is I'm routing everything that to prevent something grabbing it and chipping it. It's also easier on the hands when I reach in to attach and tie downs. So let's move on, and we'll get the tops fastened. So basically what you need to do is, once the top's fitted, what you can do is take it and take a pencil mark under here and scribe it if you like and cut it, or you can pre-cut it to length if you feel comfortable doing that. So let's get the tops fitted, and I'll show you what things look like. Then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, the next feature I'm going to add, I just did the top. I cut the side off here and made sure it fit all properly, and so that's ready to go. What I want to do is I'm going to router the edges here, so I don't want to put screws right alongside here. I'm going to put a spacer piece here on each side, and that's to help the drawer when it comes out, it doesn't tip up. So I'm going to put that down, and I'll fasten the screws to those. Then this is the drawer. It just slides in and out. There's 3/8 of an inch gap here I made, and it just slides on the runners just like that. I'm going to have a handle here, and this door front is going to actually extend over and hide this area here. This side I'm going to trim out. So now with the drawer built, and what I did was I just put pocket screws, ran into the side, so when you pull it out, once the face is on here, you're not going to see any screws or anything along that line. Same thing here, you won't see any screws. Everything is kind of hidden. It'll just slide right out like that and right back in. So let me get this in place, and then I will put the face on and the top. Then it's just a matter of cutting this piece, and then we can get ready for paint. I'm going to decide yet whether I'm going to put rod holders over there, and I probably am. So let's move on to the next phase. Okay, now that I've got the top fastened down, and I've got a few more screws to put in there, this box floats, and the drawer now is in here. Now what I did was I put a face on here. I'll show you what I did for the construction. Back here, this was the box originally, right here, and what I did was I put the face on, and when the drawer was closed, and then I took a pencil and traced around the sides here, right here on the module. And then what I did was, holding the face here up against the drawer, I first marked the center where my handle is going to go, just like this. Kind of hard to do one-handed. And that way, when I put these screws in, they'll be hidden. And so what I want to do then is, while the face was on there, I held everything the way I wanted it, and then I ran these screws in. That went into the box. Allowed me to pull them out from behind and finish off putting 8 more screws in to this face, so I know it's not going anywhere. So then when I'm ready, I can put the handle on, and they give you some cheap screws here. I'll probably upgrade them to 1¼ screws like I've done for everything else. That gives plenty of bite, but doesn't allow it to go through the plywood on the other side. As you see, I've fastened these inside strips here, and I've done that on that module as well. That allows me to bring the screw in from the edge here, so when I router it, it has a nice edge. You don't want to screw right on the router edge. So that does that, and it also allows the drawer to hit, so when I pull it all the way out, it doesn't flip up. So anyway, that's where we are. Next phase is to cut out this piece here. I'll temporarily put everything in. What I'm going to do, so that these don't move around, once this board is in, this floorboard is in, it's not going to be able to shift back and forth. But the top could still tip, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a board across the back there with pocket screws and just screw it in. So whenever I need to pull anything out, those come out, and all the modules can just be lifted out of the truck. Pretty quick and pretty simple. Okay, now that I have the modulars done, assembled, painted, I'm getting ready to put them in the truck. But before I do that, I wanted to show you a little bit of the construction, because I know there'll probably be questions in the comment, and you're more than welcome to ask me some more questions in detail. I'll do whatever I can to help answer them. But the underside of the main module, and this is the one that goes on the driver's side, what I've done is I've taken and I've cut some boards about 2.5 inches. This is plywood, and I've made runners here. This is the runners, as you can see along here, that the drawer is going to slide on. The drawer is actually going to come in from this end and slide down there. This is on its side right now. And so what I've done is I've Craig screwed these on this side into each of the sides here, and then on the back side I've screwed them into the 10-inch high sides on the carcass or the module sides. So basically it's just a ladder type thing, and this just holds it together, and then the drawer slides on this. And I put it on the bottom here so it would help distribute the weight in the truck bed as well. I didn't just want one little section of plywood, this 3/4 inch piece, where one would go down in the grooves in the bed liner, and one would stay on top and make everything tipsy. This way, by putting something flat on here, then it just makes everything set nice and even across the top of the bed liner. And this is the finished drawer. So what I've done is I've put a long piece in here. I measured my longest gun, and this gives me a couple of extra inches to add to that. I put a piece of carpet in the bottom before I laid in this divider. I pre-built this divider, and then I just put it in and screwed it from the sides here to hold it. So if I ever have to change the carpet, I just take that one big piece out, put a piece of carpet in, rather than trying to cut individual pieces. It does a nicer job. And I also rounded over the tops so that when I'm reaching for something, I don't have anything that's jagged to rough up my hands or anything. So I've put these in individual compartments here. My ammunition goes here. My readily needed things like my straps go there. This is my binocular case with all my my harness. I've got bug head nets. I've got a Bluetooth speaker. I've got a cooking kit here for if I want to take a break, you know, during a hunt, come out for lunch, or make up a grilled cheese sandwich or something. I've got my cast iron frying pan here, some cable guy wires. This here is my hammock. I've got tent stakes underneath there, and the things that I rarely use, like tow straps and my breaker bar, garbage bags, I keep them all the way in the back. Sort of working my way to the front of most accessible things. So let me show you the other piece with the rod holder, and then we'll start putting things in the truck. Okay, before I put the passenger side module in, let me show you a little bit about the construction to make it easier for you as you see things. Basically, I have a support piece that goes across the back. That's 8.5 inches by 27. And I've pocket screwed it right into the side of the cabinet, as you can see right here. And I put pocket screws on that side as well. And what that's going to do is going to keep the boards, keep the cabinets from doing this. They'll tie, when they're tied together, they become very rigid and don't slide around or move around really at all in the bed. So the other thing I did was I went and I built this fishing rod holder. I took a piece of plywood, I cut it at about 4 inches high, and then I made it about 3 inches or 3 feet long. And then I took and cut out these triangular shaped boards on the end, and I put them on top of each other, and then drilled these 4 holes so that the holes would be in the same place on each board. I used about 1 3/4 inch bit here, Forstner bit I used, and I took a 5/16 router roundover bit and did both sides. Then I attached this board to the back using Craig screws like that. Up here I slotted them so that I could drop the rods in rather than try and fish them through. It's easier to just drop them in. I can take the handles, stick them in the hole, and they're good to go. If I'm afraid of them moving back and forward like this, then all I do is I take a rubber band, stick it on the handle before I stick it in the hole, fish the rubber band through the back here, and put it around the handle. That creates tension and locks them in on all 3 of these, and it goes nowhere. So the back side of this is really quite simple in construction. All I did was I took some scrap plywood, I cut it at a 45-degree angle here, and up there you can see maybe a little better. And the reason I did that is, again, I didn't want this side of the cabinet to just be 3/4 inch where it could fall in a groove like this, or up on top and then it'd be uneven. This going across is like my hand on here. It just makes sure everything is smooth and across the top and everything's the same dimension. So let me show you how easy it is to put this in. And that's it. With that one in, the next one I'll put in is the main module on the passenger side. And that one's in. Now, all I need to do before I go any farther is fasten the board up there by putting 3 Craig screws in there to lock both of these together. Okay, all I do to finish it is just run in these screws right here, just like that, to pull it tight, and I make this flush with this top runner, which is 3/4 of an inch down from the top. This runner starts about 1 inch back from the end of that module. Once all these screws are in, then everything's tied together and it won't be moving around. Okay, the final piece, besides the drawer that goes in right there, is this 3/4 inch piece of plywood that acts as a sliding floor for me. It's a little dirty here because I've had this in use, testing it out to find out things I needed to upgrade on it or fix or whatever. And what I done was I added this cleat. And as you can see, it's not all the way to the back. That's so it has clearance for that board up there. Come forward on that about an inch, and that way the back of this will come just about to the edge of that board. The reason I have the cleat on there is so that when I add on anything like, you know, my totes or anything right here, when I slide it out, they won't slide forward. They'll come with it. And then the other thing is I can take and flip this around with the cleat upside down and put it on top of these runners here. So I can actually stow stuff underneath. Then I can pull them out forward, push the back, and they're right here at the tailgate for me. I'll show you that in a minute. So with that out of the way, this just slides in. And again, this is just a little less than 27 inches, about 26 3/4. And I just slide it right in like this. On the end here, I took and I used that same 1 3/4 Forstner bit to drill 2 holes, connected them with a jigsaw, and so now I have this nice slot handle I can grab. I didn't want anything sticking up that would impede stuff, and so this is flush and works really well. I can grab it and pull things right out. I took and rounded this over on both sides too, so it'd be easy on my hand. So as I said before, you could take this piece that was on the floor here, the sliding piece, turn it upside down, and now if I want to haul plywood, I have plenty of space to go all across the top here. I can also put extra stuff on top here to stack if I'm camping or whatnot. And then again, if I need to get the storage underneath here, I just pull this forward. Everything comes forward and I can grab it right here. So that works super slick. So before I put the sliding floor in, let me show you some additions I came up with that just make things a whole lot easier. These are Home Depot totes. I believe they're 7-gallon, and they're tough totes down here. They're about $6 each, and what I have plans for these for is, like in this one here, I keep all my cooking stuff. You know, if I want to, like I said, have a lunch, or if I'm going camping, I have little things in there like some oil, plates, some utensils, things like that. And then in this one here, I plan on putting in here things like oil, power steering fluid and stuff, so that if it does spill, it's fully contained in the tote. And what's great about these is they slide right in here, just like that. You'll notice that the clearance on this, it gives about a 1/4 inch clearance across the top. And you might be saying, oh, well, it's going to hit when, you know, you put the board on top. But no, it won't, because when the board is absent, everything drops down 3/4 of an inch, and you have that clearance there as well. So what I like to do is I like to put my totes in here, just like this. They slide right back to the end. And then the other thing I like to do is add my jet sled. This is my Chappelle jet sled, and this is the large one. It's not the junior, but as you can see, this one here also fits perfectly in this compartment area. And I love this being here. This is in the truck all the time, as well as my 2 totes back there. The one great thing about this is, if you go to the store shopping, your bags can go in here. They don't fly all over the back of the bed of the truck. If I catch trout or something, I can put them in a cooler bag that I bought from Walmart, put them right in here. Any dripping or anything else, just bring it out and hose it off. Nothing's in the back of the truck to get wrecked. I can put firewood in here when I go camping, so to keep everything from getting dinged up. I can pull everything out. I can put a cooler in here. And if I want to put like a game animal in there and pull it up into the truck like a bear or a deer, I've made these ramps. So what I've done is taken 2 2x4s and I made these brackets right here. And all they are is a piece of angle iron. You can see the angle iron right there. And then I welded this piece of 4-inch by 1/4 inch flat stock on it. I welded it across the top, and I welded it underneath like that. And then I took a carriage bolt and bolted them through, pre-drilling these so they wouldn't split. These sit perfectly on here like that. I can take my jet sled and If I need to lower something, say I have a heavy cooler, I can bring it right down. I can bring it right up and pull it in and using this handle right here. Of course, I would flip it around and then everything's neatly in there. When I'm done, these ramps right here can go right back up in the truck here. One other modification I did to the jet sled was I took a piece of 3/4 inch PEX pipe and I ran the rope through this. I also used, this is heavy duty climbing rope. It's got like 3,900 pound braking strength. And then I put a board across here and I ran just 2 screws in there to hold it in place. Drilled the holes through, ran the ropes through, knotted them up. This makes for a super heavy duty towing capacity on this. I don't have to worry about breaking anything in this plastic because all the weight now is distributed across here. So, and that just goes in place right just like that. Now the final thing about the drawer before I put it in, and I'd recommend you do this, is to take some paste wax and actually wax all the runners on both the bottom of the drawer and on the guides inside of here. What happens is, and this is why I waited to give you guys the final update on this to help discover some of the flaws of this. When you paint the paint on there and it sets, the paint tends to stick together. So you have to give the drawer a couple of good jerks to get it going. So by putting the paste wax on there, I think it's going to help eliminate the problem because there's something easy to glide on. So every time I would take this out, whenever that would be, once every 6 months, I would make sure I took some paste wax and a rag and just covered those areas again. So now let's put the drawer in and show you what the completed thing looks like. So I put the drawer in, and as you can see now with the wax on here, very easy to open. It's fully loaded with some heavy stuff in there. Just 2 fingers, pull it right open, close it right up. So that's our truck organizer. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you might want to build one yourself. I'm going to get a lot of use out of this, and I think you would too. Hey, I hope that video was helpful to you. I hope you got something out of it. You got some tips, some tricks. If you're thinking about building your own truck bed organizer, I'm sure it'll come in really handy for you. It's been such a blessing for me. It's really helped me to keep things organized as well as save my back getting in and out of the truck. You know, it wouldn't take very much for someone just looking at that truck bed organizer for the first time to realize that there was a lot of effort and a lot of thought that went into the design. The reason I did that is because I wanted to get the most out of it. I wanted my rods to be secure, I wanted my guns to be safe, I wanted to be able to use it for a lot of different venues, including camping. You know, just like that truck bed organizer was designed with a plan and a purpose, so you and I were designed by God to have a plan and a purpose in our life as well. I don't know where you are in your life right now. You may be broken, you may be going through some hardships, some difficulties, some struggles, and you might feel like, you know, your life is just a blah mess, that there's no rhyme or reason. You feel like yourself adrift in the ocean. But I'm here to tell you today that that's not the case. The fact of it is that God loves you so much that He designed you with a plan and a purpose. Now you might ask, what's so wonderful about being designed with a purpose and to have a plan in my life? Well, anything that has a design and a purpose has worth. And you and I, whether we realize it or not, are of great worth to God. In fact, God created us so special and with such love that He sent His only Son, Jesus Christ, to rescue us back from the life of sin that we've been living, and to forgive us of our sins and cleanse our heart and our life so that you and I could live forever with Him in heaven. Still don't think you're special? Let me share with you what the Bible has to say about you being special. It's found in Psalm 139. It says this: I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. You know, those verses talk a lot about how we were designed, how we were put together. You know, God didn't just haphazardly snap His fingers and that was it. He thought it through how we were going to be. In fact, in the book of Acts, it talks about the fact of how God designed where we would be born in such a time, in such a place. He knew in all of history that you and I would be in existence right now because of the way He put purpose into our life. As I said before, I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here to tell you right here, right now, that God loves you. That you are not just some haphazard mess or an accident or nothing has happened by random chance in your life. But God has had His hand on you and has been watching over you because He designed you to have a relationship with Him. God longs to have a relationship with you. And if you're not sure about how to go about having that relationship, I would encourage you to check out my free book called Growing Deep. It's in the description below. It doesn't require any email or any other information for me to capture. It's yours free. You can click on it and begin reading it right away. In it, I share with you a little bit about my life, but mainly about the scriptures and what it talks about in the Bible about how you and I can have our spirit renewed and come into a right relationship with God and live with Him forever. Guys, I'd encourage you to check out the book. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. And until the next video, please remember, God loves you more than you could ever know. Make sure you get outdoors. God bless and take care.